What's up, YouTube? Back again with another video. This time it's the Lenovo Legion Go. And as you can tell, I kind of like playing games on the go, but I also know that these games are not going to play on my Nintendo Game Boy like they used to. Those days are gone, rip. But we have these new successors to the market like this and the ROG Ally. And I kind of bought both of them to kind of see what they're about. But right now, I just want to talk about Lenovo Legion Go here because it is definitely a unique beast in the gaming world, in my opinion. And I kind of really enjoy this. But let me just get through some of the likes and dislikes of this product, so you guys, can kind of listen and see if maybe this helps you make a decision if you're on the fence between that or maybe an X1 or some other handheld device to play games on. So let me just start with some of the things I, like about this. For one, this screen, big 8.8-inch screen, absolutely beautiful, 2560 by 1600. So it's got great quality, over 1080p. So you're gonna see some amazing colors. Really, really looking good on this. Most games that I play, though, I won't lie, just because of frame rate issues and maybe some stuttering and stammering, I play most of my games at 800. Which is fine. I mean, this right now is on 800 and it looks great. I have really no problem with it at all. Because I play some games on 720p with the ROG, and I just find that, it's not hindering my experience enough for me to care, especially on a smaller screen like this. It still looks beautiful every game I play on it. So I don't think that that's really an issue, but for some of you, it might be 144 hertz refresh rate. If you're into that, I'm fine with 60, but it does play up to 144, so it's going to be really great for shooting games like Call of Duty or Fortnite, which, the refresh rate really does help in some instances. The second thing I like about this is the kickstand. This thing comes with a kickstand that is just built right into the body, and I love it. I love being able to just kind of prop my stuff up if I want to play games. Kind of play like this and then have an Xbox controller hooked up to it from a distance. And it's like kind of playing with like a small laptop, and it's really, really convenient. I think it's definitely my favorite way to play it, just because, the built-in controllers are fine, but this thing is a little heavy, so you will be kind of wrestling with it a little bit. But I think that the kickstand is just absolutely useful for media, for productivity, if you're going to be using a keyboard or something with it. But the kickstand does go quite a distance too. It goes back pretty far, so you can kind of lay it down pretty good, or you can kind of kick it up a little bit more. I usually keep it kicked up a little more, and just absolutely so convenient. Something I wish the ROG Ally had, and I found myself using this more than I think I was expecting to. And you may find yourself using it more too. If you want to play a game, have it on your desk and not have to worry about, always holding on to it. This is really the best option, in my opinion, for that. Number 3 is the touchpad in the front. So this little guy here, lets you navigate around no matter what you're doing, and you're able to kind of utilize it in games or just kind of whenever, which is really, really nice. When I'm playing something like Fall Guys, I have to be able to accept someone's invite or invite someone myself. If I'm using the ROG Ally, I'm not able to use my fingers or anything to kind of go that route, because it does require a keyboard and mouse. But usually you'd be able to use the thumbsticks, but I was having some issues, whereas this kind of alleviates the issue because it does come with a trackpad built on, and it really works. It does work really well. I will admit, I had to map some buttons, so I mapped the 2 on the back here to be left and right click. Otherwise, you tap to do whatever it is you need to do to open something, and then you press and long hold on it to pull up the kind of like the right click. So yeah, I think that's really, really useful, and it's surprisingly big. For what it is, it feels bigger than you'd expect. So I think it's really useful. I think you guys might like it. And last but not least, for my likes, I like the Windows 11 experience on this. I know a lot of people say that it's cumbersome and that there are better ways with the Steam Deck and whatnot. But I like the fact that I can run full Windows on this. And it's more just a laptop to me. Like, I don't see this as some handheld gaming device like I think of when I think of a Game Boy or the Steam Deck. I see this as just a laptop, in my opinion. Like, this is, to me, is just a straight up laptop with the option to play video games attached to it. So I know if you're kind of like into the idea of having a gaming computer, but you're okay with just using a normal controller on the side, that's fine. But if you want to have the controllers attached to it and detach like a Nintendo Switch, this really is your best option. And I will just admit, I'm not a huge fan of the controls on this compared to the ROG Ally, but they are just fine for the vast majority of games, and they work really, really well. I really enjoy playing Marvel Rivals on this and whatnot, but I do like using an external controller when possible. Otherwise, I will use the built-in ones. When they're taken off, I do have a little contraption that I kind of use to connect the two together and make a full controller, but it's not the best in my opinion. I don't think it's the most comfortable, but some of you might disagree. Some of you might really enjoy it. I don't know. But I mean, this works really, really well for that, in my opinion. And I think Windows works well. If you have an external, keyboard and mouse, I think it's going to work better. But if you don't, just navigate around with this little touchpad, and I think it'll work out just fine. So let's get into some of the dislikes about this product. And the more I use it, the more things I like, but there are a few things that I dislike. For one, the weight. It's heavy compared to the ROG Ally or something similar. This is a heavy, heavy machine, and not everyone's going to enjoy the heft. I think it's nice. It makes it feel premium. I think it makes it feel like a really solid device, but not everyone really wants to hold a Lenovo Legion for a long period of time, which is why I think it gave it the kickstand, is because they knew that this would be somewhat tiring to hold after some time. And they give you the option to just kind of put it down and continue to play it using the detachable controllers here. But it is still a little awkward to game on, and it's for the portability, it's bigger, so it's not as portable in my opinion, but it is still plenty portable compared to really just a straight up full-blown gaming laptop. This is still going to work so much better when it comes to portability than a full-blown laptop, mainly because it also has a 65-watt charger, and you can just buy those on Amazon with a USB-C cord for not that much money, and it's so much easier than having to carry around a giant charger for your laptop. So I definitely prefer that with this. Two is the battery life. Back to the charger, you're gonna need to have a charger or something nearby, because this beast does take up a lot of battery. You can get around about an hour to an hour and a half in most games, but that's definitely not going to match the ROG Ally X, which in my opinion is the battery champ for the ones that I've used. But this, even though it's does have that issue, as long as you're near a power source or you're going to play this around a power source, it's fine. It's going to be great. And if not, carry around a external charger. If you're going to be playing it somewhere like an airport or something, that's where I think that this is going to have a little bit more of an issue, because you're not going to get the time out of this that you're going to get out of other machines. But obviously not getting the same experience either. You're not going to get that big, almost 9-inch freaking screen when you're playing games. So definitely something that you need to think about when you're lugging this around with you, is that the battery life on this is not quite comparable to some of the competition out there, but it is plenty fine, I think, for a lot of people who are just looking for that casual gaming moment where they want to sit on the couch, play like an hour of gaming, and then call it. But if not, the charging ports are on the top and on the bottom, so you have options here. Don't worry about it. Number 3, the controllers. I know I mentioned it earlier. I'm not a huge fan of these controllers. I think they're fine, but I don't like the angles of them. They're kind of awkward to hold compared to something like the ROG Ally, which I'll do a video about. You guys can see that. And I'm sure you've seen plenty of other videos about it, but this thing, because it has this giant trackpad, it does need to be a little bit bigger. But the controllers on this are a little weird when you take them off. I don't really like playing it Wii style, or I'm sorry, Switch style, but it's something that some of you might like. I have seen people enjoy that experience. I'm not one of them. I don't think the controls on this are the best. I think that they are plenty fine for most games, or that you're not going to have an issue. It's just more of a comfort thing than anything. It's not a issue with it working or anything. So don't worry about that. It's just a little awkward to hold a control, in my opinion. But I still prefer this, despite that. And I mean, the joysticks are plenty loose and fun to use, not as stiff, which I know some people don't like, but I actually kind of prefer this slightly looser feel to the joysticks. Buttons are all clicky and good. You do have these little extra buttons for, crate and performance, so you can kind of quickly jump into your performance stuff if you wanted to make adjustments to your power saving mode or performance mode or balance or something like that. Tells you your battery life, which I'm going to tell you right now, super useful. Keep an eye on that battery life up there, because that is definitely going to be crucial when you're gaming. You don't want to be most of the way into something and then it die before a autosave, or if you have to manually save, kicks in, because that would be devastating. And then, of course, the fourth and last thing about it that I don't really like is, weirdly enough, Windows 11. So I know that is something I also like, but it is kind of like a double-edged sword. I mean, it runs Windows, which means it's not super optimized for everything. So you do kind of, even though you are using it like a computer, you have to understand that you are going to have to use this like a computer and not like a handheld device like the Steam Deck, or a dedicated gaming machine like that. This is a Windows tablet first, video game second. And as long as you're okay with that experience where you are able to play games with anti-cheat, I like playing games from Epic that have anti-cheats, so that's why I bought this. It allows me to play Fortnite without having to do any tomfoolery to make it work. This just works, and it has Windows, and it does everything like a Windows computer, and I really enjoy that. But it's also, because it doesn't have a keyboard attachment or something, you are going to be using it a little bit differently, and it's going to be a little awkward to maneuver around, because obviously pressing and holding to do basically a right click is not intuitive. There's nothing that tells you to do that. You just have to kind of figure it out on your own, or watch a video telling you about those things. So I mean, this is definitely one of those things that is a complete project to learn everything. Like, you're not going to pick this up and say, oh, I know how this works. You're going to have to do a little bit of legwork on your own. You have to figure out what gaming settings to use. You're going to have to figure out the configurations you find best. You're going to have to change screen resolutions, or if you plug it into a TV, make sure that it's extending the display just like on a Windows. So I mean, there are things that you're going to have to do as a average consumer. And I'll tell you right now, when I was at Best Buy and I was picking this up along with the Ally, there were plenty of open boxes, and I can see why, because people don't want things that aren't easy to use. Apple has figured that out years ago. I'm not an Apple fan, I'm an Android person, but I get it. Apple figured that out. Samsung's figuring it out because they are clearly going the direction of Apple, so they know that people like simple, and this is not a simple machine. But if you put in the time and you put in the effort, this machine is easily one of the best on the market when it comes to both being just a portable laptop and also a gaming machine. So I think my conclusion on this, kind of after using it for a month now, is I love this thing. To me, this is the future of how laptops are going to be. I like to use just a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard with this and just go about my business, while also being able to pick this up and play games on it. Full-blown games, by the way, not just some, half-baked version. Like, these are full-blown PC games that you are playing on this, whether you're playing Rivals, Fall Guys, Fortnite, Red Dead Redemption, whatever you play, it's going to play on this. You're going to have to tweak the settings, make sure you get it, low, medium, high, whatever works best. You're going to have to maneuver things like your VRAM. If you want to play things like Ratchet and Clank, you're going to have to switch the VRAM from auto to 6 gigabytes. That's going to, at least in my experience, when I switch it to 6 gigabytes and I play Fortnite, the assets take way longer to load in. All the trees look like blobs. It is a mess, and I've done it multiple times, so I'm able to confirm that at least on this unit, it has an issue when I switch the VRAM. But if I were to just leave the VRAM on auto, everything runs fine except for games like Ratchet and Clank, which won't run at all, a crash. So I mean, there are ups and downs. I do wish that this had a little bit more RAM. That would have been fantastic, honestly. If this thing had 24 minimum gigabytes of RAM, oh man, let me tell you, this thing would be amazing. You give it 32, forget about it. Game over. This is the future, in my opinion. Just like folding phones are the future of phones, in my opinion. This is the future. So, that's just my feelings on all this. Same thing, like I said, on the phone, you get a folding phone, big, beautiful display on the outside, big or small, very convenient display on the outside. Same thing here, big, beautiful display. And the controllers are attached, so you are always ready to game at any time. You can take this off and you can game with them separately, which I know you've probably seen other people do, but I'll just quickly remove it so you guys can see. There you go, and then you have your little Switch controllers, and you may or may not be into this. I don't know. I have a little thing that goes in the center, and it kind of makes it look like this, and I don't know, kind of weird, kind of awkward. These things are big. It has a little mouse thing on the bottom, so you flip that switch and you can kind of play first-person shooter games using more of these buttons all around. And I'm never going to use it. I won't lie. I don't play those kind of games. So for those of you who do, though, I hear Civilization, Warcraft, things like that is kind of fun for. But for me, that's not something I'm ever going to use. Anyway, I just want to give my quick impressions, guys. I love this thing. I think it's great. I am definitely going to keep it, hold on to it, use it more often. It is my main gaming device when I'm out and about, instead of having to lug around a giant gaming laptop with a giant gaming laptop cord. I don't need the best at all times. I don't need it to be high super frame rates and super ultra quality. This thing runs every game at a quality and frame rate that is more than acceptable for me. So I think that this thing is amazing. So definitely give it a look if you're in the market. I think I found it on Best Buy. It was like $549 for the 512 gigabyte, $699 for the 1 terabyte. They always have sales kind of jumping all around, so definitely keep a lookout for the sales. I wouldn't buy this thing brand new. I would definitely buy it either secondhand through someone, because they're all over the Facebook market, offer up. You can definitely find this for a deal. So definitely look there first. But if you do want that peace of mind that comes with buying it new, you can go to your local retailer and purchase it there. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. I hope that this video has helped someone figuring out whether or not they want to purchase one or the Ally. I will come back with an Ally video so you guys can get my impressions on that. Anyway, see you guys in the next one, and bye.